Okay, thanks very much. Trying to go back. Okay, yeah. So just wanted. Yeah, so we're director of Atlantic First Nation Tech Services, and we our major, component of our services is the Atlantic First Nation Fiber Network. So we're located on the east coast of Canada, and for those that are wondering, there is provinces east of Ontario. So we've got our. I often hear, well, you know, I'm from the east. I live in Quebec. I'm from the east. I live in Ontario. There's actually 4 more provinces east of Quebec. So we've got Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's my area. So just a bit of a history. So this organization was established in '99 as Atlantic Canada's First Nation Help Desk, part of Mi'kmaq Ganamotnaway, which is an education authority that's comprised of then at that point 9, but now 12 of the 13 at Nova Scotia First Nation communities. Our IT department, which is what I lead, actually serves not just Nova Scotia but all of the Atlantic. 2004, we established T1 connections to 20 schools at a speed of 1.5 megs. Shortly thereafter, I guess in 2010, we partnered with Health Canada to establish a community approach to connectivity. And that's where really the fiber network the collaboration between the education branch and the Health Canada, they pulled their resources to establish that fiber network. Okay. So I guess in 2011 we received our CRTC non-dominant carrier status. Construction of the fiber network was begun in 2011. Between 2011 and 2012, we established fiber into 29 communities, and you can see the ranging speeds there. With the priority and the core of our network is focused on providing connectivity to all schools and health centers in those 33 communities. But we do have the ability to provide connectivity to any band operated or owned facility. Okay. So I guess through 2016 through to just recently this year, we've managed to add all the remaining communities of the total 33 across Atlantic Canada. We do have speeds of 200 up and down to 32 over 33 communities, with Nowashish, Labrador being the only community. We're currently at a speed of 50 up and down, and that's via microwave. Bit of a delay with the clicker, that's why I'm hesitating. Okay, there we are. So just to give you a bit of a context, back in '99 we were just 2 staff. Now we have a staff of 10. Main services are fiber connectivity, network security, and video conferencing. We do have 3 funding streams, all via the Government of Canada. 2, we have a grant, self-government agreement with the Government of Canada for our Nova Scotia communities on the education side, as well as a contribution that helps us support all the remaining First Nation communities in the Atlantic, in the other 3 provinces, as well as a contribution with Health Canada, First Nation Inuit Health Branch, that helps us provide the connectivity to all the health sites, which would be, there's 33 health centers and 8 treatment centers. This just gives you an idea this is a map of our network. We serve 3 nations. All the red nations are Mi'kmaq First Nation communities. In blue are Williston communities. Those are in your, on the left side of your screen, and in western New Brunswick. And we have our 2 Innu communities in central and northern Labrador. So the overview of our network, we have approximately 80 sites that we're serving. Just gives you an idea, mostly education and health, as well as some band administration buildings. Also gives you an idea of, on the right side, the graphic, the network segregation with health, health band and education. So our network core is located at the Member 2 data center, which is one of the communities we serve. We've got 33 communities. Our point of presence in each community is located at the health center, and then then branches off into any other education or health site, band offices, and any band operated site can request to have to be added to our network, but at this particular moment it's at their expense. We do have a circuit into every community, so the attractive, well, one of the many attractive things to the bands of adding more buildings to our network is we pay one fee for each circuit, and whether we have 2 buildings or 25 buildings, the cost is the exact same. So even if it may cost them $15,000 to $20,000 to join, for a site to join our network, their monthly connectivity fees are going to be eliminated. So I call it a bit of a long-term investment on their part. And I will talk a little bit later about how how we like to eliminate that fee for them altogether. This is just a bit of a diagram that kind of gives you an idea of how our network core and network is structured. And I'm not the network engineer, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on explaining that. But we do get our dedicated internet through 2 different sources, through Bell and through GT3T, which is delivered through a local, I guess not a local provider. At one time, Eastlink Communications was a local company, but now it's in, I think, 9 of 10 provinces. So we do have planned network expansion. We're applying for what's called the First Nation Infrastructure Fund, and the hope is that we're going to be able to expand our network to other band operated facilities, not just education and health, at no cost to the communities. We have a lot of, like would be the case with many networks, we have a lot of existing infrastructure in the communities that we feel is being underutilized. Presently, as I mentioned, some communities, we have 4 or 5 right now that are in the process of looking at expanding the network and adding sites, but it can be quite costly, somewhere between 10 and 50,000 per building, depending on the length of fibers that has to be run. But as I mentioned, the attractive part about that, if they've got that connection is established, then they're going to save significantly over time by eliminating those connectivity fees. So yeah, just to give you an idea, so we have a point of presence in every community. We've got, like I said before, we've got extensive investment that's currently, I feel like it's very much underutilized, and we'd like to be able to offer those we'd like to be able to offer the network out and expand, but once you tell them the price tag, oftentimes they don't see it as they can't see the long-term savings. They see the big price tag at the beginning. So as opposed to responding to requests, we'd like the goal with this funding request that'll be going in within the next 3 to 4 weeks is that we can work with the communities that we serve to establish a rolling plan where every year we can work with 10 to 11 of our communities to say, okay, we have X number of dollars to expand to your, expand into additional buildings in your community, and which ones would you like to have added? It'll be a collaborative effort. It won't be it'll be a voluntary thing, but we know that the interest is there. And this is just an example of 2 of our communities, Elsipogtog First Nation in New Brunswick and Sipekne'katik First Nation. 2 of our 3 largest communities, about, I guess, 1/3 to a half of their band-run facilities are part of the network. Over time, we'd like to be able to add each one of those buildings. We know these 2 communities are very much interested in that. The hope is, so we hope that within Sorry, we've got 80, I think 84 sites as part of the network right now. Over the span of 6 years, we'd like to be able to triple that number at no cost to the communities, but that'll be hopefully with the help of the federal government. Similar to how I'm not sure if there's other organizations in the room that that are in Canada have utilized the First Nation Infrastructure Fund, but I know that First Nation Education Council in Quebec has done this. I would say with it 5 or 6 years ago, they were similar size to our network, and now they've just about tripled the size of their in terms of the amount of buildings that they provide connectivity to. So it's they've been a great help with us along the way to kind of get all of our ducks in a row, so to speak, to make sure that our application is attractive and will be accepted. So this is kind of our vision over kind of a rolling 3-year plan, where each community will be each of our 33 communities will be will see expansion every 3 years, and you know that's obviously going to depend on I guess the big one is access to alternate sources of fiber connectivity. Those will be the communities that will look to expand in first. So hopefully as soon as next fiscal year, which would be April of 2024. And you know, because these communities are all these communities have signed band council resolutions with us when we launched the network. This will be it'll be a collaborative effort. And you know, certainly they're going to have a lot of the influence and say over where the network expansion happens. And as well, we also have to focus on and making sure that we connect if there's any new construction projects. We like to make sure that we can get those connected as well if at the same time. So kind of balancing that you know, we are. Well, I mean, like is the case with a lot of the presentations today, where it's a very vast geographic area. Some areas are more rural than others, but certainly like to do our best to serve each of our 33 communities as best we can with the small team that we have. And this just gives you an idea of the other services we provide outside of our fiber network. And I guess that would be, that concludes the presentation. Or if my contact information is on there, if anybody would like to reach out, as well as our website, afnts.ca. Any questions or comments?
Hi, Allan. For the does you provide like Zoom capacity to different entities that are on your network?
What's that again? Sorry, Sally.
You provide the capacity for Zoom meetings on your network? Yeah,
we have video conference networks in all of our health and treatment centers, and we offer a subscription for Zoom for Health to all those health sites.
I can remember 10 years ago we had to do conferencing, video conferencing through KNET, and at that time we had to call the Addy at KNET and say, we're going to have a call. Can you allocate us the bandwidth to do that? And so he would do that, and then he would have to take bandwidth away from someone else in order for us to be able to do that. So is that all in the past now? You've got that connectivity, you don't have to do that I think it's called channeling or throttling?
Not something we have to do on a regular basis. We have, you know, I can count on two hands how many times it's had to be done in the last year. But we do obviously things that are bottlenecking. We do make sure to dedicate bandwidth with you know, obviously we can see when VC calls are happening, and if there's congestion, we can react fairly quickly. But it's not something we have to plan for, because the bandwidth is, at this point, there's an adequate amount of bandwidth within each of their sites except for one.
Okay, one last question over here in the back.
Yeah, on one slide was you had $3 a meter for construction. I think that's really cheap.
I
I think the number's out of date, or maybe that's aerial build or out of material cost, or
that would have been should be 10,000 a kilometer. Maybe my math is.
Well, you might be a good negotiator.
Yeah. Does the math work there? 10,000 a kilometer? Anyway, that's what we're paying right now, is about 10K per kilometer.
Okay. With that, I want to thank you again, Allan, for your presentation. And